Through history, the NFL has produced remarkable star players that not only have won big trophies, but have won a special place in the hearts of their fans. In today's video, we'll be talking about the awe-inspiring moments that left NFL fans stunned. Let's dive into the video. First up, John Unitas' amazing 18 seasons. The American football quarterback played 18 seasons with the NFL for his team, the Baltimore Colts. The star player has almost every career passing record in NFL history. Unitas is known for his consecutive touchdowns throughout his tenure, and this fact is enough proof of his consistency as a quarterback. Little did he know that the last game he would play when he was a rookie would be the true calling that was required for his success in upcoming games. It led to him achieving a 55.6% rookie pass completion record. 1957 was crowned as his MVP year, where fans marveled at his 24 touchdowns and 2,550 yards. While 1958's championship year ended with the greatest game his fans have ever witnessed, and 1959 was titled as the Colts year. Next, we have Dan Marino in line. Dan Marino and his passing yards career. Dan Marino was an All-American football quarterback who played 17 seasons in the NFL for the Miami Dolphins. The player is known for making the most career passing yards. The most interesting part, the NFL's top 3 quarterbacks of that time all played together, where one quarterback was on the explosive offense, the other preferring the passing game, and Marino, well, he was on top of the list. 1983 to 1999 was Marino's prime time with the Dolphins, where he scored more than 10,000 yards than his competitors, John Elway, who made 51,475 yards and 12,000 times more than Warren Moon, who made 49,325 yards. The number of yards this man holds is unimaginable. All 3 of their tenures started and ended at the same time, but none of the 2 quarterbacks were able to reach or even break the records that Marino held ever so proudly. Marino's other accomplishments include his passing yardage 5 times, and in 13 games, the star player 3 more than 400 yards. Now that's something fans can truly feel awestruck by. Right behind Marino, we have the famous Jerry Rice, the best wide receiver in NFL. Playing for Mississippi Valley State, we have wide receiver Jerry Rice, who played 21 seasons for the National Football League. The star is framed as the greatest wide receiver in NFL history. Apart from winning 3 Super Bowls, Rice is known to hold career receiving and single-season records. He also holds the place of being NFL's all-time leader in touchdowns, yards, and receptions. It's honestly very hard to just pick and choose one receiving record. Rice has a total of 8 receiving records that include career passing receptions, playing most seasons with more than 1,000 receiving yards, continuous playing games that include a reception, and having the most touchdowns in a single season. But Rice claims superiority by sustaining raw yards from scrimmage. Rice's 20,859 yards holds his number 1 on the list and pulled James Lofton's 6,855 yards down the yards ladder. Wait, don't go anywhere, we still have more left. Now we have someone you might have seen a lot on TV. Jim Brown's yard game just as good as his commentary. Now we'll talk about the famous Jim Brown. James Brown, commonly known as Jim, is not only a former NFL fullback that played for the Cleveland Browns, he is also an actor and a sports analyst. He has played over 9 seasons in the NFL. The stunning player is famous for the number of yards gained per rushing attempt throughout his career, a total of 5.22 yards, which has left the fans in complete awe. If we revisit the past, we can say that Randall Cunningham is the one who owns this record, where he averaged 6.36 yards whenever he had the ball. But the difference arises between him being a quarterback and Jim being a fullback, and the fact that Cunningham ran only 775 times in all his seasons. Jim Brown has shelved records for himself and his team from 1957 to 1965, 8 times in his career in 5 years in a row. Jim Rice led the NFL. He is also known for leading the NFL in touchdowns 5 times during his tenure. Just give the man a ball and count on him to get you 5+ yards. Who wouldn't turn into a fan after seeing that? Does talking about football make you want to kick the hardest kick you can give? We don't know about you guys, but we do know that Gale Sayers did. Gale Sayers slays the NFL with his kick return. Next in line, we have another amazing player who left the fans in awe, having a relatively short career with the NFL. Late Gale Sayers was a return specialist and a halfback in the National Football League. He holds the record of 30.56 for the highest kick return average in the NFL. He played for a total of 7 seasons. There is none other than Gale Sayers who's known to be the best and all the more exciting open field runner in all of the NFL. And there wasn't a better time to display his ability than his kickoff return. When he was with the Bears from 1967 to 1971, he had a remarkable average of 37.69 yards per return, which scored him second in NFL history. He was able to retain his position on the list in 1967 as well. He ran 2,781 yards with a run back of 91 kicks. These were just some of the most remarkable and legendary record holders and accomplishments that the NFL has witnessed and inked in its archives. Other related news. Jake Paul says he wants to join the NFL. First, he was a YouTuber. Then he entered the world of boxing, and now he wants to be an NFL player? Is Jake Paul a superhuman or what? 25-year-old Jake Paul plans on cracking into the NFL world right after his boxing career finishes. While appearing in his brother Logan Paul's podcast Impulsive, Jake Paul showed interest in switching his boxing gloves with a pair of pads and helmet. He said he wants to go to the NFL right after his boxing ends, and he was pretty serious about it. He was confident enough to mention that having him on any team would take the rating sky high. He just wants to play safely and deck his opponents. When he was asked which team would be his first preference, the Ohio native wanted to go with the Cleveland Browns. He knew everyone would be surprised when he would mention playing for the Browns. He claims to have the size and the power to knock people out with a punch. Wouldn't that be enough for him to play safety? Jake Paul has been playing football his whole life and considers it simpler than boxing. Had he been a boxer his whole life, he'd suffer if he went to the NFL. Paul believes that all it takes is coverage, being speedy on the field, knowing your plays, and sacrificing your body. Jake Paul didn't hide the fact that he was a huge Cleveland Browns fan with his orange gloves and jersey, but Jake Paul did come into contact with Brown, and it was not friendly at all. Floyd Mayweather wants Antonio Brown on the field. We've been seeing the American football wide receiver Antonio Brown in the news more times than we can recall, and it's not only related to what he does on the field. Antonio is a free agent and currently without a team. There are many people who believe that a team can strongly benefit from Antonio Brown's ability, and one of those people is Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather staunchly believes in Brown's abundant talent to the point that he is willing to give $20 million to the team that inks the 33-year-old with him. On a podcast with The Pivot, Mayweather expressed dismay over the injustice done to Brown's image. He felt that the player was simply misunderstood, and like everyone else, he wants to be treated fairly. He said that he was willing to strike a $20 million deal with a team. If AB messes up, Mayweather will pay the amount, but if AB performs well the whole season, the team would be the one to pay. NFL establishes a new rule. Here's some interesting news that we're sure will push your respect for the NFL higher than before. The NFL has adjusted its rule and initiated a new rule where all 32 teams are required to hire either a female coach or a coach from a minority to their offensive staff. After skimming through the NFL's 100-year history, it was discovered that there was not a single female in a head coaching position, where GMs and owners historically chose head coaches that came from backgrounds of offensive teams rather than defensive ones. It's a given that the NFL believes that if they put members from racial minorities, ethnic groups, or designate women on integral and key positions on offensive staffs, the top positions will be swarming with them. NFL's chairman to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee and Pittsburgh Steelers owner Art Rooney II insisted on embracing this new rule to give and raise opportunities for women and minorities. Seeing such a change in the NFL is clearly historic, and opening opportunities for other members of our community will diversify the NFL and pave the way for future generations. We're proud to be the NFL supporters. That's a wrap for this video. See you in the next one.